Welcome to our class, The Miracle of Thinking. We are section 36. Okay, there are many sections because we can have the ratio of teacher and student in a proper ratio that I could give the feedback to you guys regarding your assignment later on during the class. And it helps teacher and student to be able to interact with each other more, okay, in a smaller class. Okay. Our class will be online, okay? So we will have class time on Wednesday afternoon. And regarding blended learning, is referred to we use an online platform as well as like we can turn on our camera during consultation. And it helps us to don't have to worry about transportation during the semester as well as the classroom management. So with this class, you will have hand-on activities where you will have some activity to do self-direct research. You will need to research on the information. There will be teacher consultation time, and that will be the time that you learn from your classmate. Okay. Our academic calendar. Today, our first week, week 1, we begin our module 1. So this class separate into 3 modules. And our module will be 5 weeks. Okay. Then we're gonna have a day off on the 10th September. So this one you can take note. We will have day off on the 10th September. Okay. And then we start our module 2 on the 17th September. And then we're gonna finish on the 15th October. Then we're gonna have 22nd October day off from this class. Okay. Oh, sorry. And then we begin the 29th Oct. And then we end. Our last class gonna be the 26th November. Okay. So after that, meaning that is the last day of the class. Okay. So that's our plan. Today gonna be the introduction as well as week 1 regarding pattern and irregularity. I will discuss in detail later. Okay. Module 2 will be related to unique creation. Okay. And the module 3 will be related to human-centered problem solving in AI era. Okay. So that's the topic for our class. Regarding the learning outcome, module 1, I hope you have the ability to observe and connect change in patterns. Okay, I will explain in detail regarding change in patterns, both in events or objects, and also witness the new pattern. Okay. For a student who just joined the class, please type your name in the Zoom chat box for me so I can check attendance for you. Okay. If you haven't scanned the QR code, please type your name in the chat box. Okay. For the module 2, the learning outcome is that you gain the ability to apply the impact of pattern change to diverse objects and allowing you guys to craft distinctive and original creation. Okay. And the learning outcome of module 3, you will learn to propose creative solutions for human-centered problem solving that align with the context and condition of the issue. And you use the AI technology to help support your problem solving. Okay. The roadmap, right? Today is week 1. The learning outcome, we talked about it already. And this class learning activity, right? So I will introduce the course and establish agreements in the online classroom. I will explain the step for practicing the process of analysis of pattern and irregularity. And then today will be big group, of 10, right? Okay, is practice activity. Okay, but next week is gonna be smaller group, like group of 2 to 3 people. Okay, and I will provide more detail like when we got to the week 2. Okay, so week 2 will require you guys to work together as a group and then submit your assignment on LEB2. But for this week, I create Canva template for you guys. Okay. During the week 2, I will inform you guys regarding assignment. But for week 3 and week 4 will be time for you guys to consult your work with me. Okay. Meaning that week 3 and week 4, we will not have normal lecture like this. Okay. I will send you guys the Google Sheet for you guys to fill in the time that you would like to meet with me. Okay. And week 5 will be presentation time. Okay. Each of you will present your assignment in class. Okay. I will provide more detail when we get into that. Okay. And on the right is show the evidence. This one regarding the evidence that you will submit on LEB2. Okay. Okay. Regarding module 2 and module 3, I provide like the roadmap for you, but we will not get into detail like right now. Okay. I will leave it for later when we get into module 2 and module 3. Okay. This one is about assessment and evaluation. Each assignment will have criteria to assess your work, right? So each criteria will have level from level 0 to level 5. Okay. And I will provide the rubric detail regarding what is level 3, what is level 4, what is level 5, like that. Okay. In general, level 3 mean you have the assignment objective, right? Okay, I provide assignment objective to you. And then if you meet the assignment objective, you will get like 60% or level 3. Okay. And then there will be more detail of what would be level 4 and level 5 for that criteria. Okay. Level 0 means you didn't submit your assignment. Okay. Okay, I got your name in the chat. Thank you. How about the right part? On the right table, once you have the score for module 1, module 2, and module 3, then that will be the overall score. Okay. Based on the overall score, these are the corresponding grade. Okay. I heard someone just joined. Okay. If you just joined the class in Zoom class, please type your name in the chat box for me. Okay. Let me get back to this part here. So for example, if you get 70 score, total score at the end of the class, it means you will receive like C+. Okay. But if you get 75, it means you will get the B grade for this class. Okay. So that's my point is that the level is for each criteria of each assignment, but on the right is the total score for the grade. Okay, it's different. I heard a student just joined Zoom class. If you just joined and haven't scanned the QR code for the attendance, please type your name in the chat box. Okay. Okay, here is the proportion of scores divided by modules. It is very important. Okay. Our first module begin today, module 1. It will be 20% of your grade, okay? Then module 2 will be 30%. Module 3 will be 40%. And then you will have effective score, 10%. I will discuss in detail later about effective score. Next slide, okay? My point is that I want you to remember this because each module is represent the score for your grade, right? So I don't want anyone to like, oh, when you get into module 3 and then, oh, I don't want you guys to skip the class and then didn't submit the assignment. Okay, I want you guys to like make time to participate in the class and then submit your assignment. Okay. The next part is the proportion of points. We divide into 2 parts. The individual part will be 60%, and then the group part will be 40%. Okay, so you can see that the individual part is more than the group part, but still is it's like 60 and 40 is still a lot for both actually. Okay, I got your message here. Okay, thank you. Regarding the effective score, it will be total of 10, right? We separate into 2 parts. The first part is about work submission on time and participation in class. This one will be total of 7, but it will be divided into module 1, module 2, and then module 3. Okay, here. The other part is participation in group, but this one will be for module 3. Okay. A little bit more detail regarding the criteria of active score, effective score. Okay, the effective score, the first part, timely submission of assignment. If you submit all assignment for each module on time as specific on LEB2, then you will receive level 2. Since on Wednesday, we don't have like holiday, so we don't have to make up the class schedule. So we will have a like class on just Wednesday afternoon as we have the schedule here. Okay. Regarding the class participation, I will observe throughout the module, right? Whether you attend the class on time and actively participate in class, whether you if late, it means not more than 15 minutes. Like our class is 1:30, right? 1:30 p.m. If you come within like 1:45, you're still on time. Okay, but I do prefer that, okay, we come on time. Okay. If you know that you will have activity that you need to participate in advance, if you need to go somewhere on Wednesday afternoon in advance, please inform me. Okay. On LB2, there will be session to submit your absent form, but also please inform me as well. Okay. In case I don't get the notification. I heard a student just joined the Zoom. If you just joined the Zoom, please type your name in the chat box. Okay. 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 So that's effective score. 2 part of effective score. Okay. Regarding LEB2, I think you guys are like 2nd year, 3rd year, so you already have experience using it. But if you need more standard of operation or how to use it, you can use this website. Okay, the link. As I mentioned, I will send this slide to you guys in the live group after class. Okay, So you can take note on some point, but you don't have to take note on everything. Okay. There will be link for the support material here. You will need to use create a group work. Okay, begin next week. Okay, one of the team member will need to create the group work on LEB2. Regarding cooperation in online classroom, so since we learn together in the online class, you could keep your camera on and you mute your microphone. And if you have any question, you can use the raise your hand button. Or whenever I ask, like, do you have any question, you can turn on your microphone or you type in the chat box. Okay. Uh, when I gonna take the photos, I will let you know in advance. Okay. I will tell you that I will take the photo of the class. Okay, it's for like teacher document. We need to document the photos. Okay. Mm. Okay. I will get into some information about pattern and irregularity. Okay. Um, yeah, I saw your name. Okay, I got your name here. Um, yeah, as I mentioned, our class is begin 1:30. So next week and the following week, try to come like within the first 15 minutes as well. Okay. Mm. This is the learning outcome. I hope that you guys will practice and then learn to have the ability to observe and connect a change in pattern. I will explain in detail about change in pattern, both in event or object, and also witness the emergence of new patterns. Okay, I will provide more example here. These are the definition. Let me give you example here. In the human history, right? When we would like to take note about something that we have learned, or we just want to draw something, we need to find object to draw, right? For example, if I'm at the beach, I could find a wood stick and then I draw on the sand or write on the sand. Okay. If I'm in the forest, maybe I could find a piece of rock and then I write it on the soil. Okay. It could begin that way, right? So that's the main components of writing tools or drawing tools. Okay. After that, if I observe, oh, the bird have feather and it's falling down, right? For example, goose, hen. Then I collect the bird feather and I'm like, how about I dip into the mud? I dip into the mud, that dark color, and then I can write on a piece of animal skin or a piece of fiber paper. Okay, so that's the development or the change in the main component that we use for writing. Okay, and then I feel like, how about I need to travel? I cannot carry the mud with me easily. I need to develop some container for the ink or the mud liquid, right? So with that, I use something for container to carry the ink with me. Okay. And later on, we have more technology, right? So we can actually make a container with lid, right? Okay. And then we can make a fountain pen, right? Later on. Fountain pen,ปากกาหมึกซึม and sometimes it's difficult to use a fountain pen, right? So people like, how about another type of pen or even pencil, right? People know that we can pack graphite or the burnt carbon with glue. Maybe we develop glue, right? And we can pack them with glue. And then we can even use it without messing our hand. So we make wood to cover the graphite rod. Okay. So that's the process of developing the writing tools. Okay. The academic word for explaining the difficulties of human in making writing tool. For example, it's difficult for us to carry mud or the mud liquid to use as an ink. Okay. Academic word is called irregularity. Okay. Something that make us could be irritable too. Could be problem. Okay. So we try to find a way to develop new, not could be new material, could be new function of the writing tools, for example. Okay. With that, it could have either positive or negative impact. Okay, for example, we could have a ballpoint pen nowadays, right? But we create waste after we finish using it as well, right? Mm. It doesn't mean that it's always have positive impact. Okay, it may have both. Okay, so that's my example to guide you through the pattern and irregularity. You may still curious about pattern. Okay. What I gave you the example is the pattern of writing tools development. Okay. If we would like to separate them into like, let's say 3 patterns, pattern A could be the oldest writing tool that we ever have. It could be even wood stick with sand, right? It could be a rock with another rock or the cave, right? Okay, people use rock to draw on the cave. That's possible. Okay. So that could be pattern A, is a material that human use to write or to draw. Pattern B, it could be bird feather with mud liquid. It could be um, charcoal, and then we draw it on something having light color. Okay, so that could be the second pattern. Okay, even second pattern could also the fountain pen, it might a little bit jump. Fountain pen could maybe be in the third pattern. Fountain pen, ballpoint pen, even pencil could be in the patterns C or the third pattern. Okay. So this is what I mean by pattern and irregularity. Okay. Okay. When we get into different topic of learning, we would like to develop hierarchy of knowledge. Begin with the bottom, begin with the basement here. Okay. So we practice identify pattern and elements in logical and rational order of occurrence. Okay. Then we practice describe how the pattern has evolved over time. Then we explain reason for pattern change. Why this pattern change? Why people doesn't use rock to draw in the cave anymore, for example. Okay. Or maybe we play it, we still play, but not as common. Okay. The fourth one is compare cause of pattern change to make future prediction. What are the reason the pattern chain, and what could be maybe the prediction for the next pattern. Okay. Regarding the class activity, I will provide more explanation here. Okay. We begin with concept of searching common style element within a pattern. So first of all, before you practice this activity, you will select the topic of interest. For example, my example was about writing tools. Okay. Then I will group and pattern description, meaning that, as I mentioned, if I separate into 3 groups, I will separate into this, that, those, right? That I explained to you earlier. The third is to identifying the chain and continuity within a pattern is frequent aspect of repetition. I will provide example for this part here. A word could be difficult to understand right now, but I will provide example here. Okay. For example, pattern A for the writing tools, right? We have wood and we have a rock to write, right? So the chain could be material that we use for write, okay, due to the availability. Because if I'm at the beach, I might difficult to find rock, the small one to write. But if I'm in the forest, maybe there could be some small rock for me to write, for example. So that's the chain, although it's in the same pattern, but the chain could be due to the location. Okay. Specifying what influence prompt a change leading to the new pattern. So this one we tell the reason. What could be the possible reason for the change from pattern A to pattern B? Like develop the fountain pen, right? So it could be human have technology to make ink and to preserve ink in a container. Okay, we can build a container. Okay, we can create the tip of the fountain pen. We can create the mechanic release of the ink into the fountain pen head. Okay, for example. Okay. So there are different type of patterns. Example of static pattern is shown here. The first picture on the left, we can see that they are all clocked, right? Watch clock. Okay, because we can see the characteristic of it. We can see in the arrow, we can see in the number, we can see the round shape, even sundial here, sun, what do you call? Sun clock, sun watch, shadow watch, yeah, sun watch. Okay. And on the right, we can see that they are all like seafood. So this is called static pattern. Okay. We see and we recognize based on our experience. Okay. This one is the static pattern. What are the basic elements and structure? Not in everyone, but in every picture, I would say in this way. Okay, what do you see as a basic elements in every picture? You can type in the chat box or you can turn on the microphone. What are elements that have in every picture? Okay. Your classmates say 12 number as time. Okay, great. Yes. Yeah, all of them have 12. Although this one doesn't have number, but it have 12. That's good observation. Oh, the sun clock is 12 number as well, right? Yeah, I didn't like I just pay attention to the sun clock right now. And I have seen it, but I haven't learned how to read it actually. Anything else that you see here in addition to the 12 number? Mm. I mentioned it in the other slide before as well, right? Kem, arrow, right? We see the arrow. Even for the sun clock, it have arrow as well. Okay. Anything else? For this 8 picture, it look more like a round shape to me. Okay. So that will be like the common or the basic elements of the clock here. I wrote Arabic or Roman numeral. Okay. Number in circle. Or this one have a little bit edge, but it still like look like circle. Arrow. Okay. Some of them have 2 arrows, some of them have 3. Regarding pendulum, one of the students explained to me that the basic principle of it is that for the pendulum, when we provide a external force to the pendulum, then let it swing, okay? Swing, yeah, swing, swing, swing. Then it will swing approximately 60 times, similar to the 1 minute have 60 seconds, like that, okay? So that's the principle of how the pendulum work, okay? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, this static pattern. How about dynamic pattern, right? So the dynamic pattern is include movement, growth, and change in various form over time. This dynamic pattern can be categorized into 2 types. Type 1, repetitive loop. So it's coming back to the loop. For example, ballroom dancing, okay? They may have a repeat pattern. They might not have to, but there would be some ballroom dance that repeat the pattern. Lesson plan, melodies or hooks in the song, right? Water cycle, okay, condense, evaporate. This pattern involve recurring cycle of actions or event over time. Even the clock, right? As you mentioned, the 12 number of time, then that one is repeat as well, right? We have midnight, we have noon time, right? For our class, we focus on no repetitive loop. We focus on the dynamic pattern that does not repeat. For example, the development of phone. So we have this phone that look like this, and only certain players have it. We need to go to certain place to use the phone, and then later on it's more available in the household. Okay, and then it's have a like ability to use without the wire. Okay, we have a mobile phone. Okay, telecommunication. Okay, later on develop like touch screen. Later on we can use our watch as a phone. Okay, so that's the product that we would like to focus for our class, for example. Or the light source. Okay, at the beginning we use like wood stick, and we use the friction of wood stick to create and ignite the light, to lit the light. Okay, and we also need air, oxygen in the air to have a light. Later on, we develop candle, human developed candle. This could come from animal wax, such as beeswax, such as whale brain wax. Okay, I have read from a book that they mentioned approximately 500 years ago, humans still use the wax from the whale brain. Whoa, yeah. Mm. I'm glad that nowadays they can use wax from other things. Okay. Uh, and they have like a glass lamp to prevent the wind blowing the candle, or even add the oil as a fuel source. Okay. They develop like carbon light bulb, light bulb. Mhm. And when they got more funding, they develop tungsten light bulb, which can stay for longer and less smoke. Mhm. Then develop like fluorescent light bulb and the light emitting diode light bulb, okay, which can save some energy and electric costs. Mhm. So as you can see here, although we still use like wood stick and fire, maybe for barbecue, but in our household or in our dormitory, we don't use like wood stick for light anymore, right? So you understand that point. So we still have it, but we, as a function of provide us some light source, we use the later development. Okay, so that's example of product that we study in this class. Mhm. Human life is also not a repetitive loop. Okay, like we born, we grow up, one day we're gonna die. Okay, so it's not repetitive loop. But we will not focus on like living thing in our class. Okay. Uh, example of how I could group the watch. Okay, the clock. Okay, when I group them, I suggest you all to group from old to new. Okay, like the old one, ancient one in the history, and develop into the newest one. Okay, so here you can see the sundial. Yeah, I call it, yeah, sun clock, sundial. Okay, it have different shape. Okay, a little bit different. And then the second one could be the pendulum style clock, and then the quartz with the battery. Okay, so we can categorize them into three patterns. The first one, sundial, the second one, pendulum, and then the third one, quartz and battery. Okay, so that's example of how you could uh categorize or separate them into group. Okay. Okay. Regarding the activities, will be group of 10. Okay. And these are the example. But before I let you start working on it, I would like to explain first. Okay. And then I will shift to the getting to know part, getting to know each other part a little bit before I let you guys work on this activity. Okay. My explanation here, I provide example of watching tools. Okay. If your group have 10 people, right? So each of you need to discuss with each other first. Okay, what topic you're gonna study today? Okay. For me, for as an example, I use laundry equipment. Okay. And then I find different photos. When you work as a group, you could find photo that you try not to use the same photo or similar photos. Okay. There are varieties of them, right? So these are varieties of laundry equipments. Okay. Then I will need to group them. So here, this one, I didn't use any tools. I use my hand, for example, right? And this one, the person used his or her feet to wash the laundry, okay, the clothes. So this could be group 1 or pattern A, okay. Then the second pattern I see, there are small tools that they use to wash the clothes. To separate into 3 groups, I would say this one is the second pattern, pattern B, using small tools. Okay. Then the third pattern could be the big machine here, when you develop the big machine. So that's how I group them. Okay. So you group similar patterns. And then I provide more information about it. Okay. Use different part of body in combination with water and chemical to wash the clothes. And then the second part, use small tools to clean along with water and chemical to facilitate the washing process. Okay. And then pattern C, we use larger equipment to help us in washing the clothes. Okay. So this is how we write down each pattern definition or identify each pattern. Okay. You can see the topic here, change within pattern. I would like to explain a little bit here. Change within pattern is mean within pattern A, is there anything change based on your representative photos, 2 photos here? What are the change among them? It could be one using hand, the other using another part of the body like foot. They could use different chemical or detergent. Okay. Although they use detergent, but it could be different chemicals. Okay. Persistence is common or recurring characteristic. It means that what are the common thing of this pattern A? The common thing is that you use human force to wash the clothes. You use chemical, although they could be different type. And you need water to wash your clothes. Okay. Let me give another example. Okay. Chain within the pattern. This pattern B, 5 picture, right? Human force. You either rub against the board or you use brush to wash. So it's different type of the tools that you have, right? One is like a brush. The other you rub against the board. Okay. So that's the change. The material that you use, it could be different. Okay. It could be different chemical. Okay. The common recurring characteristic are water, human force, chemical, and then you utilize small tools. Okay, you begin to utilize small tools for watching. So these are example of the activity that I will ask you guys to practice in a group later on. Okay. Regarding irregularity that I mentioned earlier on, it's an academic word. Okay. For example, we use rock to write on the cave, right? But then if we travel and we don't have cave to write on, humans start to think, can we use something else to write? Oh, I found bird feather. and I have some dark liquid, and then I could dip it in, and then I can write. With the difficulty that we have, that part is the irregularity. Okay. It's something that require change. Okay. The red word here, the column is, I'm sorry, the column is switched, but it's okay. You just focus on the topic. The red word here is the persistent, is common and recurring characteristic. There are additional tools to help with watching. Okay, like this one, utilize small tools. And the human power has disappeared. Okay, we can use electric motor to watch our clothes. Mm. Although the first three still use mechanical force of human, but use less than like B, pattern B. Mm. For this table, the additional table is on the right. Factor creating new pattern. This part we write about the reason the pattern change from A to B. For example, minimizing the use of human labor and avoid exhausting tasks by using alternative method to do laundry. Inventing a small tools which specifically designed to facilitate the washing process, serve as a labor-saving device. So this one are the factor that creating new pattern. And then this is from pattern B to pattern C. Okay. The red is shown human force, and this pattern B still have human force, but pattern C, some of the machine is just like we just press the button, right? And then it's run automatically with the electric force and mechanical force. This one is additional to pattern A. It have small tools. Additional to pattern B, it has large tools and the motor washing machine. Okay, so that will be like my example and explanation. Yeah, before I let you guys work in a group of 10, I will let you guys take a break for like 3 minutes before I go over the get to know slide for probably like 30 minutes before I let you guys working on this activity here. Okay. Yeah. With that, let me stop share. Okay. So let's take 3-minute break.